about this Valentine's Day to win over the object of your affections? You give them something so insanely adorable and then force them to destroy it in front of your eyes. No actual cats were harmed or hearts were broken in the making of this video, just my heart a tiny bit. Subscribe for animal-shaped biscuit cruelty! Oh no, please don't just subscribe for that. Hi everyone, it's Tash and welcome to another recipe video. And this week we're going to make some Linzer biscuits, also known as jammy biscuits and jam sandwich biscuits. And yes, because it's that time of year again, I am making them Valentine's Day themed. Don't panic and think your house is going to be overrun with biscuits when you're making these. When you're cutting out the individual biscuits at the time, it looks like you're going to have way too many. But remember, to make these biscuits you need 2 to sandwich together. So in actual fact you end up with half the amount. This made 16 cat biscuits and some mini heart biscuits as well. And they look impressive, but they're super easy to make. I also have a cheeky little hack as well that I use to stop the jam from smushing out of the edges when you bite into it. And they're going to be so cute, almost too cute to eat. So they're a surefire way to win someone over. And if they don't, they're not deserving, take the cookies back and you enjoy them yourself. This is a simple recipe, but you do need a bit of patience because you need to chill the dough before you cut it out and bake it. Because it is quite a soft dough, but it's very much worth the wait. And other than the chill time, they are really easy, I promise. So let's go to the kitchen and see how it's done. First, I'm going to grab 170 grams of cold unsalted butter, which I've chopped up into cubes. Aha! You thought I was going to say preheat the oven first. While it's true in most cases you're going to do that first because you need the oven to come up to temperature before you bake things to make sure you get the right time. In this case, actually we're going to make the dough and then chill it for an hour first, and then probably for another hour. We'll see how that goes second time round, but don't need to preheat the oven just yet because we don't need to bake just yet. In fact, it's best if you keep your kitchen cold for this stage. To that we're adding 320 grams of plain flour, 100 grams of caster sugar, and a pinch of salt. And I'm going to get in there and rub that into breadcrumbs. Well, actually, I'll take my rings off just for the minute because I don't want them to get all gummed up with dough. So let's crack one egg in. And I'm also going to add a teaspoonful of vanilla and a teaspoonful of almond extract. You don't have to add almond extract, by the way. I really love the flavour, the really nutty fragrance. But if you're not a fan, then you don't have to. Let's start giving this a little bit of a stir, and then when it gets a bit too tough to stir, we're going to transfer to our hands and bring this together until it forms a nice soft dough. There we go. Now, because this dough is a bit soft, we are going to wrap it up and put it in the fridge. So we've got some cling film here. Whoops, that was very violent. To pop our dough on top, give it a bit of a pat down so it doesn't take too long to chill. And remember, we don't want to chill until it's solid, just until it's a little more solid. We want to be able to roll this out after all. Just pre-shaping it a bit. Tuck it in. And we're going to let this chill in the fridge for just an hour. An hour's up. I have lined a couple of baking trays with non-stick baking paper. And we're going to roll out our chilled dough. I'm actually going to break mine in half because, as you can see, I have very little space to work with. And I don't want this to create a ridge in my biscuit, so let's do it a bit at a time. If you have an actual proper work surface, a big one, then feel free to roll out the full amount. Sprinkle over a little flour so it doesn't stick to the surface and the rolling pin, and we're going to roll it out. As you can see, I have some guides on my rolling pin so that I get a uniform shape, but you can just judge it, and I roll it out until it's about a pound coin in thickness. And now we've got our cat mould, which I last used when I was making those gingerbread cats a couple of years ago. and we're just going to stamp out some cats. And we're going to do this again and again until all of our dough is used up. And then we're going to pop it in the fridge, so I'm going to place this on my baking tray now. Let's continue. Potentially easier way to get the cats out. Stamp it straight down, put it straight up, and then slide a palette knife underneath them. That is much easier. Actually, that's the method that I use for my gingerbread cats. I should have started with that. Anyway, that's the easiest way to do it. So we have 32 cats in total, which of course will make half the amount of biscuits, because remember we're going to need 2 to sandwich together to make 1 biscuit. And I've got a couple of rejects here because there's always a bit that's hard to roll out and form right at the end of when you're using your dough. Right, I'm going to pop these in the fridge for another hour to firm up, and then we're going to cut out some hearts. Another hour of chilling time is up, and now we are going to preheat our oven. We're going to preheat it to 180 degrees C. Now I've got some refrigerated cats here. I'm taking the smaller tray because it's a bit easier to fit in view. And I've got myself a little heart stamp and also a spare tray, because what we're going to do is for every other cat we're going to stamp a little heart in the middle. So let's do this now for one. Make sure that you do it so there's space around it. Like that, stamp straight down. Gently bring it up, there we go. Heart. Pop out the heart. And we're going to place this on the baking tray too. We're going to bake these separately. You can re-roll them out for more cats, but I can't be bothered, to be honest. So let's continue doing that to every other cat. Here is what my big batch looks like. They look absolutely adorable. And I also have my little heart cookies here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bake the cats for 10 to 12 minutes until they're just going golden. And as for the hearts, I'm going to give them, let's say 8 minutes first, because they're smaller so they may cook more quickly. Our cats are baked. Now we need to let them cool completely. And of course we're baking our other batch now as we speak, and we're going to let those cool too before we continue. This bit is a little trick that I like to do to stop the jam from smushing out of the biscuits when we sandwich them together. So I've got about 4 tablespoonfuls of icing sugar here. I'm going to gradually add a few drops of water until we have a thick-ish icing. Add the water bit by bit, because if you have never worked with icing sugar before, then you should know that it takes on water really fast, so don't add too much at a time. Nice, this is just about the right thickness that I want. Not too thick, not too thin. Let's bring over our biscuits. And I'm going to choose these two to do because they're a bit easier to reach from under the camera, from under the phone. Right, so I could put them like this, but I think it's a bit of a shame to hide the cat face, so I'm going to make it a two-sided cat. Flip one over. What I'm going to start doing first is lining the outsides. Oops, make sure you don't have too much. As I was saying, lining the outside with some icing sugar, and this is going to be like a stopper. Not too much icing, remember, because we want the main thing to be the jam. Nice. Pop that down there a second. Now I've got some strawberry jam. This is actually strawberry and champagne jam, which is even fancier, but regular strawberry jam will do. I'm gonna add a little half teaspoonful. Ooh, pick it up because it's a bit easy to work with. Drop it in the centre and spread it out. And we're going to pop the top on. Just like this. Give it a gentle squeeze. Lovely. And we're going to just pop that straight on there to dry. And we're going to do that again and again for all the rest. A quick caveat, by the way, this double-sided method isn't going to work for all moulds, because some of them you'll need to have one stacked on top of the other. It just so happens that the shape of the cat, the outline of the cat, is more or less the same whether you flip it over or not, so do bear that in mind. Just to add, when you get a bit of practice working with the icing sugar, you can actually get it to drizzle very thinly like this so you have more space for jam. How adorable are these guys? Technically, Linzer cookies should be dusted with a little icing sugar on top, but like I said, I absolutely detest using icing sugar. I hate the mess it makes, so whenever I can get away with not using it, I don't use it. Also, I don't want to cover up those really cute little faces, so we'll leave it at that. These are so cute, which is going to make the next part really difficult for me. These are ideal tea time biscuits, perfect to serve with a cuppa. You might even not want to give these away, in which case you can always make a double batch. Disclaimer, no actual cats were hurt during the filming of this video. I almost can't stand how cute it is! And it's double-sided too, so no matter which way you're looking, the cat looks at you. You know what's coming next. Has to be done, so cheers! Okay, let's do this. Get a hold of myself. Go for the head. Delicious! That was heartbreaking to do, but very rewarding. It did not perish in vain. The biscuit itself is super buttery, with a nice snap to it. And a tiny bit melt in the mouth as well, because we didn't blast it in the oven for too long. We made sure it was still a little bit pale and just about going golden around the edges. And I do love that slightly nutty note from the almond extract, which goes so well with the floral vanilla. So I do think it is well worth adding, unless of course you don't like almond or you're allergic to it, in which case just stick to vanilla. So why not make these for a loved one this Valentine's Day? Or for yourself, you deserve to love yourself too. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed today's video and I hope you'll join me next Wednesday for my next one. Get the full written recipe on my blog tashcakes.com, follow me on Instagram, I am tashcakes.tastes, and on TikTok I am food in slow motion. And also Tashcakes, because yes, I think you can actually find me if you search Tashcakes in there too. Subscribe and hit the notification bell if you'd like to see more. Give this video a like if you'd like to help other people find it. Comment down below if you'd like me to make anything in particular, and I'll see you guys next time. Be good, be nice, and have a good week.